أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. In Islam, dear Moors, members of the main three, and a hearty Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah in Islam to our brothers and sisters on Africa Prime, and a hearty Islam to our brothers and sisters in the noble Islamic world. Islam? Yeah, just thought talk a little bit to you brothers and sisters before I get going. Take care of some business today on Friday, Jummah. Friday is known as Jummah in the Islamic world. You know, it's been the word is out about Juma Mubarak, whether that's Sunnah or not. You know, whether that's a bid'ah. Some commentators saying it's a bid'ah is an unauthorized innovation. You know, to say Juma Mubarak or Juma Kareem. You know, uh, a lot of hadith experts, hadith scholars, Islamic scholars, modern Islamic scholars, contemporary Islamic scholars, saying that the Happy Juma or Juma Mubarak is unauthorized. It's an unauthorized innovation and shouldn't be said. You know, and it seems like a lot of brothers are kind of ignoring that, or they don't know. But it makes sense. But the law is the law, and the deen, the religion is the religion. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam perfected this demonstration, perfected al-Islam. In the Circle 7 said he united he united Islam. The uniting of Islam. So he must have unified all of the concepts, must have unified the philosophical foundation of Islam. But we have to go by what the Kitab, the Holy Quran says. This day I perfected this religion for you. This day. So it's an era of time where he perfected it. Then again, it may be another era of time where it's even more perfected. It may be another higher level of perfection associated with the team. Pardon that noise. I got a contractor out the back. He's installing floodlights. For the block. So. But I would like to talk about the subject of the true foundation, quote unquote. It's not my invention. It's not our invention. This is what the Prophet Noble Ali alayhi wasallam called, the establishment of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the establishment process or processes of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He called it the true foundation. And what really stands out about that term, the true foundation, is in this warning letter. It's a warning as well as a letter. Uh, some historians, some Moorish American historians, said that the letter was written from prison during the time the fitna jumped off with Claude Green, trying to take the movement over, moving his beloved prophet's furniture stuff outside, saying he was in charge now. You understand? And he paid a serious price for that. He paid the ultimate price for that too. Alhamdulillah. Because the Prophet was a kind, wonderful human being. The Holy One, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sent him here to save us, you understand, to rescue us mentally, you understand, and physically as well, Allah ta'ala sent us a guardian, a protector, a comforter, you understand, and this kind of appreciation they showed him, in that era of time, and guess what, in this new era of time now, you know, And he said that in that warning letter, I think it's dated January the 15th, 1929, or it may be dated March of 1929. I know it was around the time he was going through this battle with a lot of the jealous people in the temple, were jealous of his fame and fortune and all. I mean, he was a prophet, he was a servant, he was worthy of his hire, when beauty was, prophet was always immaculate. You understand? Could dress his hind parts off. He wore the beautifulest turbans you ever want to see. I wish I was back in them days just to see the turbans that he wore. See some of the outfits that he wore. And they were all degrees. Everything the prophet wore was a sign and a symbol. A symbology. It had a message. You know, and I wish I back in those days and seen him. Just beheld him. Well, anyway, yeah, the warning letter said that it started off like this. It said, "Dear Moors, all evil spirits are moving now. They're trying every weak mind to tear down and drag out the true foundations which has been laid by I, your prophet. But if you have the love of Allah in your hearts and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you see nor hear, but will sacrifice to the very utmost of your very life to protect your prophet in your movement. This is an everlasting movement founded by I, your prophet, through the will of Allah." It goes on about, I think it's another paragraph after that. I'm not sure. It's been a while. I know I remember. That's one of the first things that I remembered when I first came in the Great Light of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The gateway for Al Islam, for us. I highly recommend brothers that interested in Islam come up through the temple first. Learn what the Prophet Noble Alayhi Wasallam and his forerunner, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and their comforter, the rational legal prophet, the long range successor to the Prophet Noble Alayhi Wasallam, and that's Grand Sheikh, Chief Supreme, the late, great Chief Supreme National Grand Sheikh, Timothy Dingle-El-Noble Drew Al-I, in this new era time now. Alayhi Wasallam. I suggest brothers that want to learn Islam, to come into the great light of Islam. Yeah, they can take their shahada and all that, but get your foundation, get this Moorish American foundation, okay? Because this is the truth. You understand? If you get this Moorish American foundation, you will be precisely on Sarat al Mustaqim. You know, the path, the right way, the right path. You understand? Because you got a lot of our brothers and sisters, they're in the deen, they're on Sarat al Mustaqim, but they're not precisely on Sarat al Mustaqim. You know, if all of the Islamic nations was to gather together and everybody under their own flag, where our brothers and sisters going to go that don't believe in the Prophet Noble Alayhi Wasallam or the ideas and principles that he brought for us. So they don't have a flag. They don't have a national identification piece, right? That's what a flag is. The flag is a national identification piece. You understand? It is a banner that identifies you to a nation. You know, we got, we had in the main three, we have brother and sister organizations, in the main three, the nation and the American Muslim Mission, Mohammedan Temple American, American Muslim Mission, Nation of Islam, this is the main three. That's how I use the term to refer to these honorable organizations, brothers and sisters, as the main three. you know. And the flags that they have, I mean, those are their flags. The flag that we have was, was retrieved from the basement of the White House. You understand where the White House was sitting at today? Probably where the White House was sitting at it may be the same foundation. Some people read that it wasn't the same foundation, but I believe it was. I haven't heard. I couldn't substantiate it. So you can't substantiate nothing. Hey, it is what it is. If you can't substantiate it, then it must be true. You know, if you can't substantiate it, That's even better because you found out that it was true. But if you can't substantiate it, then it is what it is. It has to be true. Well, anyway, our historians said that the prophet said that he got it from the basement of the White House. And they're trying to figure out how he knew what it was because when he asked me about it, I had no idea it was down here. One of the presidents, some people say it was Coolidge, some people say it was Woodrow Wilson, but it was between 1912 and 1913. You can narrow it down who was he actually talking to because they said first of all, how you get in the White House? That they call it a legend. I don't know. I don't think it was a legend. Prophet said it happened, so it is prophet. Everything he said came true so far. If prophet said it's true. You know, based on who and what he is. And we have evidence of his prophecies coming true. So if your prophet said it's true, then I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to accept it as true. Retrieve our banner, right? And they said some commentators said he was still had the chop marks on the flagpole. When Prophet Noble Dingle-El-Noble went down to the basement of the White House and got our flag out, and it was still on the flagpole. With axe marks, axe chop marks on it, because George Washington and First Continental Army, they chopped it down. It was up there in Philadelphia, in that province, that government province, the Moroccan provincial government up there in Philadelphia, was stationed up there in Philadelphia, and see, we have an identification. We have a bona fide, right, a verifiable identification piece that ties us to a land. You know, everything that Noble Dingle-El-Noble was selling bought is extraordinary. You gotta get into it. It has a connection. You understand me? It has a direct connection to known things. You understand? You can't go all up in space with it. See, got a connection down here on Earth. That's why the prophet Noble Dingle-El-I, Timothy Dingle-El, said that down is the master word. Down. He said in the resurrection book, in Al-Qiyamah, he said down is the master word. What do you mean by down is the master word? Down here on earth. That's what he's talking about. Leveling off. You used to always say, am I leveling off? You understand? What you mean leveling off mean? It means, am I leveling off if I'm making it plain? You understand me? Am I, establishing my firm foundation with what I'm saying? Concrete. It's called a concrete analysis. You have a concrete analysis. You have a concrete understanding, which is solid. You understand me? Do you have a solid concrete, you have a solid understanding, do you have a solid knowledge of what we're talking about or what I'm talking about, down, down by law, down by, really, when the term down by law means down by evidence. You need evidence. See, you need proof. Another term for evidence is proof. That's why I taught for years, since the 80s, right? Brothers saying truth don't need no support. That's a lie. That's a lie. I've been saying that for years. Probably because it sounds good. It becomes a tradition. It becomes traditional. It becomes customary for a brother to stand up and say, well, here's demonstrate, and then try to make a point by saying, well, truth don't need no support. That's not true. Truth does need support. And you know what the name of that support is? It's called evidence. It's called proof. Right? It's called substantiation. Right? It's called verification. Right? A table has 4 legs. Right? A house has what? Foundation. Right? All of these are synonyms of evidence, proof. Foundation is a synonym for evidence, proof. That's how you know if it's true or not if you can't prove it. Right? Give you an example. The sun is bright, right? Now you're going to exercise your five senses. This is one of the reasons why the prophet tells us let us one exercise his five senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school come the guiders of the nation. You understand? Powerful demonstration. That's serious. That's a whole new volume that you can write on that little clause alone in the additional laws, right? Well, anyway, you need to prove what you're talking about. You can't take that in court. You can't go into court. Well, Your Honor, I didn't do this or that, and truth don't need no support. Try to go in court with that. Take something like that in court. You understand? The sun is bright. Why? How do you know the sun is bright? That's a declaration, but you have to prove what you're saying. Well, I see it. I see the rays is bright outside the sun. I see that the sun casts a shadow, and I feel the rays of the sun on my skin. See, this is evidences, substantiations, foundations to what you said. See, they hold up what you said. It supports what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? Truth does need support, and it's called evidence. Okay? I've been saying that for years, and it's a lie. Right? It's con men say this kind of stuff to just has to go back to that weak minds and probably talk about, in that warning level. They're trying, evil spirits, right? They're trying to every weak mind, right? Let's take you back to these fraudulent foundations, like 1934 foundation. Fraud Green. I'm going to say Fraud Green, but that may be an angel talking to me. Fraud Green, yes, his name was Claude Green. Said he was in charge, moved the prophets, dusting everything out in the street and everything. Then you got another group, right, that got upset with the interim prophetic guide. You understand me? Master teacher. You understand me? Beloved brother John Givenzill, Noble Drow Lee, and reincarnated. He was settling. Some brothers called him Noble Drow Lee repeating himself. He was settling. You understand? They broke away from him, got mad at him, right? Rather than reconcile and come to some differences and everything, they created a split, went off and set up their own Moore Sons Temple of America in 1934. Right? Fraudulent foundation. Complete opposite of the true foundation, which is the documentation, the embodiment of understanding the true foundation. It's right on back of the prophet's premier book, the 101s. Yes, Quran questions for Moore's children. Right? Great meeting of Zoan. It's right on, it's Form 1099, right on the back of the 101s, man. That is the true foundation. You understand? 1928, July 20th, 1928. And there is a continuation of the true foundation, right? And it's intricately connected with the 50 years prophecy of the prophet Noble Drow Ali alayhi wasallam, and he who fulfilled the 50 years prophecy of Noble Drow Ali alayhi wasallam. You understand? That's the late, great critical mastermind, crypt analyst prime. You understand? The late, great more science master Timothy Dingle-El-Noble Al alayhi wasallam. I was there back in 1980 when he changed the vowel sound from Ali to Ally, and I begged him to put it in writing, and he got on me talking about I don't come in there and dictate nothing to him. I say, well, Lord, you had to put that in writing. I say, because your enemies will say Noble Drew Ally, Noble Drew is a lie, stuff like that. Our enemies, he said, he don't care what my enemies say. I said, well, sir, I think you should still put it in writing, Well, you see, I did put it right. I wrote it on your heart. I said, alhamdulillah, Islam, he was the man. I wish y'all could have met him. He's a prophet, man. He told me some things that was going on in my personal life, too. He told me how I talked back to my mother. He let me know that he knew that I talked back to my mother. It was a couple of days before I went to the temple that night. Me and my mother had a few words, my first time. I said something back to my mother, you know what I mean? I felt like crap about it, and he knew about it. You understand? A couple of things about Timothy Dingle-El-Noble Drew L.I. that he let me know that he was a prophet. He let us know that he was the prophet Noble Drew Ali in this new era time now. Pop stuff going on. This is real. What science is real? Everybody else, they don't know what they're talking about. Especially if they're speaking against it. If they're speaking against more science, they're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. It's powerful stuff here, man. And let me tell you something. A lot of these folks, a lot of our leaders, right, especially the ones that's up in age and everything, in both on the Christian side and the Islam side, they know Noble Drew Ali prophet, man. They know it. You got these hard-headed brothers in the temple, hard-headed and scared. See, they think nobody don't smell them. See, I can smell a jump. I can smell a jump. It's like you smell a rat, a mouse in your house. I can smell a jump. People scared. More afraid of the devil than they're afraid of he who created the devil. You understand? He who created the heavens and earth and all in between. They're more afraid of people, they less afraid of the creator. All powerful. You understand me? He the ones that creates, he the ones that saves, and he the one that destroys. And he gave us a symbol of that. The circle 7. That crest. You understand? That crest that he gave to Jesus Christ, alayhi wasallam. We wear that crest. You understand? Ain't no chumps got no business wearing no circle 7. Logo circle 7. Ain't no coward got no business wearing no circle 7. Because you don't represent it. That's a powerful symbol, man. It may be the powerfulest symbology in the world. Circle 7. Logo circle 7. That which creates. That which saves. And that which destroys. You understand? Powerful stuff going on. You've got to stop playing. The true foundation is going to crush everything that's false. True foundation, man, is a heavy stone, man. That is the cornerstone. That is the stone that's head of the corner. The true foundation stone. The true foundation stone. That's the whole term. The true foundation stone is heavy, man. And it's going to grind everything to powder that's lying. You don't believe it? Keep on living. Keep on living and following this thing. Following this process. You'll see it. The thing the prophet say is real. He's talking about the third and fourth generation. The third and fourth generation. The eyes wide open boys, man. They ain't playing. These brothers and sisters, when they come, they ain't gonna be playing. That's why they say they're gonna. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the time's gonna come where a group of Moors are gonna come in with their eyes wide open, and they're gonna seat the older Moors in the back and seat the younger Moors up front. That's the process. And people, how people used to their seats and stuff. They don't want to get up. So you do is, that's a powerful saying. Seat the older Moors in the back. You got people sitting up front, used to they're comfortable in those seats and everything. This is a metaphor. Positions of power and influence and benefit. They benefit from this or that in some kind of way, materialistically, egoistically, and they don't want to get it up. They're not going to give them up that so easy. So there's going to be some stuff. Let me just talk a plain, but it's in the record. I seen it in the record. You understand me? Keep on living. You think that's why the Hawks, man. You look up that term hawk, right? Look it up under politics and military science, right? And watch what come up. The Hawks. Talked about the Hawks in Caveat Emptor, article in the Moorish Literature Pamphlet. I told you, brothers and sisters, that Caveat Emptor of the Moorish Literature Pamphlet is the social, political, Islamic foundation to Al-Qiyamah, the resurrection, what's going on right now. The continuation of the true foundation. The resurrection, you understand me, is a process that dusts off and puts back on track the true foundation. You understand? This stone is heavy, man. This stone is heavy. And it's going to crush everything that's false, that's lying, that's out of order. Ground it to powder. You can tell right there they can't stand up under some of the sparks that's coming out of it. I'm one of the sparks that comes out of the true foundation. You see, they get the heck out of my way. And just imagine, when the hawks come. See, and they coming. Listen, brothers hard here. They don't believe poop stink. See, these old coward knuckleheads. They like puppies in the house, pooping in the house. See, you try to train, but they're not gonna stop till you rub your nose in it, pat your little hind paws and stick them outside in the rain. That's when they learn. Don't poop in the house. See, it's with these stagnators. You understand me? That's what they like. They're like puppies, little stubborn puppies pooping in the house. See, won't stay on the paper. You understand? But that's what I want to talk to you boys about. To reiterate the true foundation and what the prophet said about the true foundation, about evil spirits moving now. You see what he said? They're trying. You understand me? Every weak mind. They're trying every weak mind to convince them to help him, to assist him, tear down and drag out the true foundation, to assist them in tearing down and dragging out the true foundation. You can't undo what Allah Ta'ala has done. See, it's the futility, the insanity of it. Going against Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty. You understand me? Ta'ala. Ta'ala means all highest or almighty. Ta'ala. You understand me? Most high. Like I know, I've seen some stuff during the time my mother died. Allah ain't nothing to play with. Sweet and kind. Wonderful. Oh, elegant. Beautiful. But he ain't... Allah ain't nothing to play with. Listen to that James Brown record, Papa Don't Take No Mess, all that screaming he doing in there. He wasn't only talking about his father, he was talking about God. Papa Don't Take No Mess. Listen to that. Get a chance one day, go on YouTube and put it in there, go in that search window and say, James Brown, Papa Don't Take No Mess. You know what I mean? Listen to that. Let's try to get the album version, the long version of it. Listen to that screaming he doing in there. Oh, man. And that's real. God, God ain't nothing to play with. You read that kitab, read the Holy Quran, right? How God talk about an evil beard and stuff to lie on. You understand? I don't want to eat off the tree of Zakum. The tree of Zakum. You should read about the tree of Zakum. It's real. No, not me. And not anybody that I love. Inshallah, mashallah. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop playing. Let's stop playing. Let's listen to these irreligious, the irreligionists. You understand me? Really, in Islam, they call rejectors of faith, kafirs. People don't. They want all the Moorish honors, but they don't want the Moorish faith. Come on. You know who they are. They Masons. And a bunch of darn criminals in sheep's clothing. You're a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing. You understand? They know this is what's up. This is it. Right? But they just want to be in part of something that they know what's happening, that they know is real. But they ain't real. No. It's not a fad. That's what we call a fad. People following fads and stuff. Just want to be down. You understand? No, this ain't that kind of, this ain't that kind of brotherhood, sisterhood. You understand me? This ain't that kind of movement. This is a religious, this is like probably says a holy and divine movement. You understand me? This is a holy Islamic movement. You understand me? A holy religious movement. If you're saying holy and divine, right? And you're saying holy and religion. And the name of our religion is not divine. This is Islam. It said this is a holy and Islamic. You understand me? This is a holy and Muslim organization. Divine and national movement. What do you mean divine and national movement? Break it down. Make it clear. According to Circle 7, chapter 47, verse 8. You understand? Returning to church and Christianity, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to what? Islam. He didn't say we are returning to divine, we're returning to divinity, we're returning to spirituality. It doesn't say that. Right? You won't find divinity. The name of our way of life, divinity, indicate that. You won't find it on the back of the document of the Truth Foundation, which is Form 1099. Our authority, Form 1099, is the documentation of the Truth Foundation. Right. And it's owned by Timothy Dingle-El-Noble Drew M.A.I.N. Alayhi Wasallam. Truth Foundation, continuation. This is real. Gotta stop playing. It's the truth. You understand me? This is the truth. And it kills falsehood. The truth is a falsehood killer. The sword of truth is wielded by the falsehood killer. Right? So you want to be correct. Right? You don't want to get hit with that sword because it has two edges. Understand that. You need to understand that. We need to understand that. The sword has two edges. You got a sword in the mouth, then you got a sword on the side. You got a sidearm too, you understand me? Two swords. Well, really, you got an edge come out your mouth and you got the edge that come off your hip. I don't want to get hit with either one of them. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I don't want to get hit with either one of them. And you shouldn't either. Okay? That's the message I want to give you, brothers and sisters, all right? Have a good day, inshallah. Stay prayed up, stay right, stay straight. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah.